This is problem 8-57. The x-intercepts of a quadratic polynomial are given below. Find a possible quadratic equation in standard form. Okay, in part A, we have the x-intercepts are 3/4 and -2, and then we'll do B after. So we have the answers here. We're going to try to make the equation, and it says in standard form. So we can't just write, here's how we're going to start it for A, x, and then the opposite of our x-intercept. You know what, I'm going to change that to a decimal there. Okay. So x minus 0.75, and then x, the opposite of this is going to be x plus 2. Okay, so we're just doing 8 right now. So it says in standard form, so we need to multiply those together. So if you want to think about it as FOIL or distributing, or if you want to draw the generic rectangle, that's okay too. So x times x is an x squared. I'm going to get negative 0.75x, and then positive 2x, and then negative 1.5 on the end. Okay, so I'm going to combine these two together right here. So I'm going to have x squared plus 1.25x minus 1.5. So there's our equation. If we just stick a y equals in front of that, we have our equation. Now it says in standard form, so this is technically okay. However, we usually don't want decimals in here. So if I were to multiply all of this by 2, I would get 2x squared plus, if I double it, let's say, that would be 2.5x minus 3. So I still have this decimal here. So it's better, but it's not great. So if I did this, this was times 2. Let's multiply the original times 4 instead and see what that does. So this would be a 4x squared. This would be a plus 5x. And this would be a minus 6. Or you can just double each of these coefficients. Oops, can't quite see that there. Okay, so that's all we did. So this is kind of the technical, it looks better form because there's no decimals and it's in standard form. So we're going to say that's our equation, y equals 4x squared plus 5x minus 6. So I think that would be a good equation for that. Okay, the other one's all right, but it's just there's decimals in it. We don't usually like that. So let's see, I'm going to try to work down here for the part B. Okay, so part B, we have the x-intercepts are negative square root of 5 and the positive square root of 5. This one's a little shorter. So again, we're going to put them in parentheses and do the opposite of the x-intercept. So the opposite of this minus radical 5 or the negative radical 5 is going to be plus radical 5. Okay, this one's just going to be the opposite, so x minus radical 5. So make sure this second factor comes from this second x-intercept. Okay, so now we're just going to distribute or FOIL or do the generic rectangle to multiply these together. I'm going to get x squared first. This is going to give me a plus radical 5x and a minus radical 5x. And then I have a positive times a negative, so that'll be a negative radical 5 times radical 5. Those square roots, you can think of it as this. We're doing radical 5 squared. So this radical and the squared kind of cancel out, so I just have a 5 right there. Or you can think of it as square root of 5 times the square root of 5 is the square root of 25. And then that's how we get a 5. But this negative is because of those signs there. So these two things in the middle cross out, and I just get x squared minus 5. And I'm going to stick a y equals in front of that, and that'll be our equation for part B. That one was easier because the middle stuff canceled out and we didn't have decimals. So that's how you write a possible quadratic equation in standard form when you're given the x-intercepts.